ಸೌಹಾರ್ದ ಭಾರತ ಆಶಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸವಿಸ್ತಾರವಾಗಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಅರ್ಥಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಆಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಬರ್ಗು ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರಪ್ಪನವರೇ ಹಾಗೂ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದ ಭಾರತದ ಸಂಚಾಲಕರಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ SR ಮೆಹರೂಜಾ ಖಾನ್ರವರೇ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸನ್ ವೇಲೂರವರೇ, ಸಹ ಸಂಚಾಲಕರಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಶ್ಮಿ ಥಿಯೇಟರ್ ಫೋರಮ್ರವರೇ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ TH ಲವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರೇ, ವಿಜಯಕುಮಾರ್ ಸೀತಪ್ಪ ಅವರೇ, ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಸಮಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಮಿಸಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಶಶಿಕಾಂತ್ ಸೆಂಥಿಲ್ರವರೇ, ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಶಬ್ನಮ್ ಅಶ್ಮೀರವರೇ, ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಮೃದುಲಾ ಮುಖರ್ಜಿಯವರೇ, ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಸಭಾ ನಕ್ವೀರವರೇ, ಹಾಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆರೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂಧು ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಪ್ರಪ್ರಥಮವಾಗಿ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದ ಭಾರತವನ್ನು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಭಿನಂದಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಕಾರಣ ಇಷ್ಟೇ, ಇಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾರಂಭವನ್ನು ಹಮ್ಮಿಕೊಂಡು ಚರ್ಚೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನುರಿತ ಮಾತುಗಾರರನ್ನು ಬರಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದತೆ ಇಂದು ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆಯೇ, ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕು, ಇದರ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬಹಳ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ವಿಷಯ ಮಂಡನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಬರ್ಗೂರು ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರಪ್ಪನವರು ಮತ್ತು BL ಶಂಕರ್ ಅವರು ಸಂವಿಧಾನ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂಬೇಡ್ಕರ್ ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನು ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರ ಪಾತ್ರ ಬಹಳ ಅರ್ಥಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಭಾಷಣಕಾರರು ಅವರ ವಿಷಯ ಮಂಡನೆಯನ್ನು ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನನಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ತಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಭಾಷಣಕಾರರು JNU ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ಶಬ್ದಂ ಅಶ್ಮಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಂಗ್ಲ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಕಿವಿ ಮಾತು ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಓವರ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಎ ಫ್ಯೂ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್. We have got a written constitution under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. We have been administered oath, the preamble of the Constitution. Preamble of the Constitution, particularly the concepts of sovereignty, socialist, secular, democratic Republic India, and other important aspects which have been enumerated: justice, equality, liberty, fraternity, are all held to be the basic structure of the Constitution. Both the speakers preceding me have rightly presented the secular India. The phrase secularism is by way of constitutional amendment, 42nd constitutional amendment, in the year 1976 was amended to the Constitution, both secularism and socialist phrases, with the avowed object, keeping in view that 13-judge constitutional bench judgment in Keshavananda Bharati's case while examining the land reforms law enacted by the Kerala state government legislative assembly, fell for consideration, and also the scope ambit of the parliament to amend the constitution fell for consideration. The apex court, examining part 3 and part 4, and also the power of the parliament under article 368, considering the various constitutional position across the world, they held that prior to amendment, India is a secular country. This is the interpretation made by 13-judge constitutional bench. That means to state that the law laid down by the apex court, examining the power of the amendment to the parliament, Supreme Court explicitly held that India is a secular state. This is the binding law, binding precedent on everybody, every citizen, every constitutional authority. Either the President, Prime Minister, Vice President, Chief Justice, Justices of the constitutional courts under the scheme of constitution, Chief Ministers, Council of Chief Ministers, everybody. It is binding precedent. That must be read along with Articles 25 to 30, which are provided as the fundamental rights, which are natural rights, to Part 3 of the Constitution of India. 25 to 30 deals with all religions. All religions are protected. All religious tenets are allowed to be practiced. 25 to 30, a multi-religion country. Multi-religion country, all religions are equal. It is not contemplated under the Constitution or the judgments of the Supreme Court, which is the final authority to interpret the constitutional provisions, particularly Part 3 and Part 4. Supreme Court repeatedly held it is a multi-religion country and secularism must be protected, defended. This is what Bargur Ramchandrappa has said before the Constitution, during the independence struggle, freedom struggle, even prior to independence struggle, how the relationship between people from two different religions, they were cultivating the friendship irrespective of their religious belief and practices. That is, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದ ಸಾಮರಸ್ಯ ಸಮಾಜವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯವಧಾನ. ಇದನ್ನು ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್, some persons who are holding the office and taking the oath under the Constitution, either the ministers of the Union of India or ministers of the different states who have got different ideology, political ideology, they are talking against the constitutional philosophy and the concept. This is a tragedy in this country. This is what Bargur Ramchandrappa and Shankar was telling to us, that we have to accept and accept the constitutional democracy. Under the Constitution, we are required to govern the people of this country, and we must protect the religions, we must allow different religion people to preach, believe, practice their religious tenets and the practices. Instead of that, today, some of the politicians and some of the, including the former judges, the so-called intellectuals, are making accusation. The defenders and the followers of the constitutional democracy and the constitution in India, if we say that secularism must be there, it must be defended, it must be protected, these people are telling these are all pseudo-secularists. This cannot be accepted by us. What do you mean by pseudo-secularism? If they don't understand the history, they don't understand Gandhi and Swami Vivekananda, they do not understand Radhakrishnan, the President of India, former President of India, they don't have the belief in the constitutional philosophy of secularism, and they are required to govern the people under the constitution. You are telling that people who are defending the constitution, secularism, socialist, democratic Republic India, you are in the reverse order condemning, attacking. These are the ultra leftists. This is too bad, and this is not too bad for the people and the country. This is what exactly, if you inculcate by giving a hate speeches by the religious heads across the country, that runs contrary to the constitutional philosophy of multi-religion system in India. The unity and integrity these people preach, who is breaking unity and integrity is the question. The persons who are acting against the constitution, dividing the society on the basis of religion, they are destroying the unity and integrity of the nation. This is most important. Young people are here. You must understand this. You must take the leadership of this country, move forward. This is very, very important. That is why we must congratulate the Souharda Bharata having organized this meaningful seminar, day-long seminar on this subject. My dear friends, Mr. Shankar was telling that today a rule of law in any number of judgments of Supreme Court, ಶಾಸನಬದ್ಧ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಜಾತ್ಯತೀತ ಧರ್ಮನಿರಪೇಕ್ಷತೆ, the secularism, is held to be the basic structure of the constitution in 13-judge constitutional bench judgment in Keshavananda Bharati. Till that judgment is replaced by constituting a larger bench, 15 judges or 17 judges of the Supreme Court, and refer this Keshavananda Bharati's case is no longer a good law, then if the Supreme Court, after interpretation, understanding the constitutional philosophy and the part 3 and part 4 the aspects, and comes to the conclusion that the law laid down in Keshavananda Bharati, the secularism, the socialist India, socialism, rule of law, justice, liberty, fraternity are basic structure of the constitution is not correct. The power of the parliament is recently, which is being in Jaipur and other places, the constitutional function of the Vice President of India has been attacking that the judgment in Keshavananda Bharati is no longer the good law. I think it is too much on the part of the constitutional authority, being the Vice President, who has been elected under the constitutional scheme, who has taken oath under the constitution, required to govern and function as the speaker of the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, and he being the senior counsel, designated senior lawyer, telling that Parliament is supreme. When the Parliament is supreme, constitutional amendment to substitute the collegium system to appoint the constitutional judges to the constitutional courts, both to the High Court and the Supreme Court, is taken away. It is interference in exercise of judicial power. You have taken out the power of the executive, and the law laid down in Bharati, Keshananda Bharati, is no longer the good law, is most unacceptable by the law-abiding citizens of this country. It's very, very bad. We can't accept it. Repeatedly, thereafter, the Law and Justice Minister, every day in and day out, in every function, he is attacking the collegium system. He has placed reliance upon former judge of the Delhi High Court. He said that the constitution is hijacked in providing collegium system to appoint the judges, judges appointing themselves as judges to both the High Courts and the Supreme Court. That is not the constitutional scheme. That speech is borrowed by this law minister, is every day criticizing, and every day he is giving a statement. This, according to me, is a systematic attack on the independence of the judiciary, is my view. That we should not allow these constitutional functionaries to do like this. If it is attacked, the collegium system is to be changed, you bring the law. Who will accept, who will oppose you? Who are coming in your way? Nobody is coming in your way. Last 7 years after the NJS, National Judicial Commission, there, whose nominees? Those nominees are going to propose and appointing judges to the High Courts and the Supreme Court. That day is a doomsday for the Indian judiciary, according to me. So this is what they wanted. The systematic attack on the Indian judiciary is evident, that is with a purpose to see that the action of the Parliament in repealing Article 370, it is unknown in any democratic country that a statehood where Jammu Kashmir is a state has been taken out and creating the union territory, 3 union territories, 2 union territories, which is unacceptable. A state was there, Article 268 is there, constitutional governance and governance by that state, and you are repealing Article 370 by invoking the another constitutional provision. That constitutional provision says that it is the Constituent Assembly alone of Jammu Kashmir must pass the law to repeal Article 370. 370 is provided with understanding, agreement when that the monopoly rule was taken over, joined Union of India. That time, to protect their rights, Article 370 was provided. It was in force, it was in vogue for the last 74, 73 years. That has been repealed by exercising the constitutional power by the Parliament, assuming that because the state of Jammu Kashmir was under the President rule at that point of time. When the President rule was there, you exercise that power, take out that power and repeal Article 370. 370 valid constitutional validity is under challenge before the Supreme Court. And the other important electoral bonds case is pending before the Supreme Court. So many other important cases are pending before the Supreme Court. Now, if you attack the Supreme Court, that means you have no respect for the rule of law. You must allow the independent judiciary to function. That is the danger which we are facing in this country. So therefore, I am giving a hint to the young members of who are present here. There is a danger for the unity and integrity of the nation. There is a danger for the constitutional democracy to function. There is a danger for the protection of the Constitution. If that danger is not averted, there will be a great danger. There will be, that's what ಬರ್ಗು ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಭಾಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ದೇಶನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ದ್ವೇಷದ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾಶ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟವ್ರೆ ಜನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಇದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಚುನಾವಣೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂವಿಧಾನವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಬೇಕು, ಸಂಸದೀಯ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮಗ್ನರಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಕಳಕಳಿಯ ಮನವಿ ಯೂತ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ದೇಶದ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ. ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಮಾತಾಡುವ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಈ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆದರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮಾತಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ದಿ ಕೌಂಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ರೆಡಿ with the consisting of the judges and the bureaucrats, including the army personnel. This is the danger which we are facing in this country. The fabric of secularism is being degenerated at the hands of the persons who are in the helm of the power, and instead of protecting the Constitution, protecting the multi-religion people, and creating hatredness, and constitutional authorities are attacking the another constitutional institution, judiciary, with the avowed object to see that it must be brought under the control of the executive. That will not happen. Our people of the country will not allow this to happen. I am sure that because we got the independence, sacrificing lakhs and lakhs of the youth, the farmer, the woman, the teachers, the politicians, everybody. So it is the time for us ಸೌಹಾರ್ದತೆಯಿಂದ ಬಾಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಜದ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣವನ್ನು ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೆ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಂಕೀರ್ಣಗಳು, ಇಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾರಂಭಗಳು ಬಹಳ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ. ಬರೀ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನಗರದಲ್ಲ, ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ, ಇನ್ ದ ರೂರಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ, ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ದ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ಈ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಶಲ್ ಗೋ ಆನ್. You must have seen yesterday the JNU students, Jamia students, Calcutta today, and even across the country, in the beach, Cochin, the one thing to know the information, they are not allowing. To see what has happened, prepared by a broadcaster, is not allowed to see it. So there is a great danger for the freedom of the country, freedom for the people, freedom of expression for the people. Freedom of expression is the basic structure of the Constitution. That's what is provided in the preamble of the Constitution of India. I appeal to youngsters again that please take the lead, organize, fight for protection of democracy, the Constitution, and bring senses to the persons who are governing us. Their business is to govern the people under the Constitution, not beyond that. And you must also tell the hate speeches creating disharmony in the society, taking bail, coming again hate speeches. And one of the judges made observation, the parliament must make law, court will not interfere. That is also not correct. Judges also must bear in mind that you are part of the Constitution. You are required to play an important role to see that Constitution is protected, rule of law is maintained in this country. If any person taking the law into their own hands, create the religious hatredness, attacking the other religion people, that must be stopped. Such people shall not be granted bail. They must be put behind bars. This is my view. Thank you very much for having given me opportunity to express my views on this occasion. Thank you.